NASCAR just denied Cletus McFarland entry to race at Talladega Superspeedway. But this decision didn't come out of nowhere, because to understand why NASCAR shut the door on him, you have to go back to the beginning. And honestly, this story is way bigger than just a rejection. How does a YouTube car creator end up even being considered by one of the most legendary teams in NASCAR history? Garrett Mitchell, better known as Cletus McFarland, isn't your typical racer. He's built a massive online following of nearly 5 million subscribers by doing something NASCAR never really mastered: raw, loud, unfiltered car entertainment. Burnouts, builds, chaos, and pure horsepower content. That's his world. But here's the key thing. He's not a professional racer. He's a content creator who just genuinely loves speed. Before his deal with Childress Racing, his actual racing resume was extremely limited. Just a handful of ARCA Menard Series starts between 2025 and 2026, 2 top, 1-0 finishes, and a single Truck Series race in February 2026 that ended in a crash. So the real question becomes, how does someone with that kind of background land a deal with RCR? It all started with a phone call. Dillon, a Cup Series driver for Childress Racing and grandson of Richard Childress, reached out after seeing Cletus's content online. He wanted to understand something very simple. What was his actual goal? When they spoke, Cletus didn't hesitate. He said he loved superspeedway racing and dreamed of one day running the Daytona 500 inches the Cup Series. That answer changed everything. But Dillon made one thing very clear before anything moved forward. This only works if Cletus stays true to who he is. They didn't want to turn him into someone else. No fake persona, no forced transformation. If it stopped being fun, the whole project was over. Then came the official deal. In March 2026, it was announced. Cletus McFarland would run 3 O'Reilly Auto Parts Series races per season over a 2-year partnership with Richard Childress Racing. The idea was simple: merge 2 completely different worlds, NASCAR and YouTube culture. But not everyone was excited about it. Inside the NASCAR garage, the reaction was immediate and divided. Kyle Petty openly questioned whether internet personalities belong in professional stock car racing at all. Kyle Busch also raised concerns about experience, pointing out how many years most drivers have before reaching the Cup level. Even Bubba Wallace's spotter, Freddie Kraft, voiced safety concerns, showing this wasn't just online criticism. This was coming from people inside the sport itself. Still, Cletus didn't back down. When asked about the criticism, he made one thing clear. If NASCAR allows it and RCR believes in it, then he's going to race. And he also pointed out something blunt: anyone criticizing the opportunity would have taken it themselves. Then came the 4th of April, 2026 Rockingham Speedway, the weekend where everything shifted from theory to reality. Inside RCR, the reaction wasn't celebration, it was honesty. Danny Lawrence, RCR's vice president of O'Reilly Series operations, admitted that Rockingham was a tough test. And while Cletus showed moments of real control, even saving the car in situations where most rookies would have spun instantly, the team knew something important was missing. They simply didn't get to execute. In fact, the biggest issue wasn't one dramatic mistake. It was the lack of full race execution. The team never even got a proper live pit stop under race conditions. After early instability on track, the entire strategy shifted into survival mode. Just keep the car rolling, don't take unnecessary risks. And behind the scenes, even RCR openly acknowledged something bigger. They wouldn't be surprised if NASCAR wanted him to run more races before stepping up to superspeedways, but the paddock itself was completely divided. On one side, 2024 O'Reilly Series champion Justin Allgaier praised Cletus, saying he stayed clean, stayed respectful when being lapped, and handled the pressure better than expected for someone under a spotlight that intense. Dillon also defended the project, saying NASCAR should actually be proud of how Cletus represented himself: calm, respectful, and willing to learn without ruining anyone else's race. But the critics doubled down. Tommy Baldwin compared the situation to skipping straight from 7th grade to college, arguing that racing has a structured ladder for a reason, and you can't just bypass it. Freddie Kraft pointed to in-car radio moments where Cletus didn't fully understand basic racing terminology, calling it racing 101 knowledge that should already be second nature. Even Mark Martin, who had shown support for Cletus, delivered a blunt reality check, saying his strongest area right now isn't racing, it's interviews. A polite way of saying the driving still needs serious development. Then came the decision that changed everything. On the 7th of April, 2026, NASCAR officially denied Cletus McFarland entry into the O'Reilly Series Superspeedway races at Talladega. The ruling was clear. He is approved for ARCA, Truck Series, and short tracks, but not superspeedways just yet. NASCAR officials made it even clearer. It wasn't a rejection, it was a delay. They simply want more short track experience before allowing him onto the most dangerous style of racing in the sport. Dale Earnhardt Jr. supported that decision publicly after reviewing multiple tests and races, saying he saw enough to agree that Daytona and Talladega would be too soon at this stage. While Cletus showed effort and awareness, the inconsistency in car control was still too frequent. His recommendation was simple: more races, more reps, more learning before the next step up. Cletus responded honestly on social media, calling the decision frustrating, but not unexpected. He admitted he just needs more seat time and more experience. But while opinions were divided in the garage, the numbers told a very different story. When Cletus raced at Rockingham, O'Reilly Series viewership jumped more than 11% year-over-year. The Truck Series opener in Daytona, featuring names like Tony Stewart and Travis Pastrana, pulled in over 1.3 million viewers, marking the strongest Truck Series audience in nearly a decade. And across early 2026 races, multiple events showed clear growth whenever he was involved. Which leads to the real question NASCAR is now facing. It's not whether Cletus McFarland brings attention, because the numbers already prove he does. The real challenge is balancing that attention with proper development, so the sport doesn't rush him into superspeedway racing before he's fully ready. For now, the path is clear. More ARCA races, more truck starts, more learning. And when asked about it all, Cletus kept his answer simple. He never expected to be fast-tracked through NASCAR. He's just taking opportunity in front of him, one race at a time.